All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our monthly Magnet 30 networking call where one of our Magnet 30 members shares a little bit about themselves and kind of allows us to know the person behind who they are, the business that they're running, or whatever it is that they're doing in their lives. And I really want to if you haven't done this yet, I really invite you to reach out and tell me that it's time because this is a great opportunity for anybody who hasn't had their gotten their feet wet in front of an audience. And this is a friendly room. We all know and love each other, and this is the perfect opportunity to get started. So today we are going to hear from Jim Inglis, our wonderful Scottish friend, and he is going to share about his exciting life because he's the coolest dude ever. And we we want to hear more about what he is up to, and and then we can open it up for any questions at the end. So if everyone besides Jim will please mute themselves so we can hear Jim loud and clear, and then we'll hear what he has to say, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. All right, Jim. Hi, welcome. Take it away.
Are you recording
Thank
this?
you.
Oh,
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Good evening and welcome. Um, I'm going to start here by showing you my first book. I will go back to earlier, but this was my autobiography. Can you see that? Yeah. Um, Different hairstyle. Um, it's called Memories, Music, and Me, an autobiography by Jim Inglis. Believe this was 2009. I wrote this, so I didn't know anything about Bob Proctor. I didn't know anything about manifesting or visualizing or anything. This is what I learned at Hypnosis College. So the beginning of the book, first page is believe in your goals and in your dreams. Always believe in yourself and your ability. Then you will find that anything is possible. Jim Inglis, registered hypnotherapist. And the foreword, I'll just read a paragraph. Everything in life began with a thought, as did this book. This is a true account of my life and an insight into what it was like growing up in the 60s and 70s and beyond, and the memories which other people will be able to relate to about that era. Stories of the band No Kidding, in which I was a member, and my journey into the field of hypnosis, and ultimately becoming a respected hypnotist. I have often taken the road less traveled, and by doing so have awakened the giant within. And you will learn that in this life, there is no such thing as coincidences. They do not exist. Everything is a result of the power of the mind. So, we will go back to my earliest memory. I think I was 4 years old. I was in hospital. I had been knocked over by by a truck, well, sort of a large van, a truck, yeah. And I was I was in hospital for 9 weeks. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and my earliest memory is the nurse picking me up and taking me over to the window to wave to my mum and dad as they left. So after that, I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn how to use my hands again. I was I could use both hands at that time, but I had to, my right hand just wasn't as powerful as my left. So I had to squeeze a ball to strengthen my right hand. Even today, I don't have the same power in my right hand as what I have in my left. Uh, However, I won't bore you with that. Primary school, primary school was a pain. Um, I was bullied in primary school, and I thought, well, it'll be different in high school. Wrong. It wasn't any different. I was just bullied there as well. But I always thought of being in a band. I'd listen to music. I'd visualize myself on stage playing the guitar or singing, and I couldn't play the guitar or sing at that time. Um, One day when I was up at my uncle, well, my granny's, my uncle said to me, "What you want to do? What you going to do with the rest of your life?" I said, "I want to be a pop star. I want to play in a band." He said, "Get your head out the clouds, son, and get yourself a proper job." That's Scottish for get your head out of the clouds, son, and get a proper job. And in that instant, I just fell flat. It was like the water was going out of the sink. The plug had been pulled. I felt really down. But I managed to um, get myself back up again. And in the 70s, I used to go to the local town hall on a Saturday night to see the bands playing. Bands that they weren't famous at that time, or not as famous, but they were, they were going that way. They are famous now, like the Bay City Rollers, Status Quo, Middle of the Road, Susie Quattro. They all played Hoyk Town Hall. And I used to go to watch them, and I thought, oh, I would love to be up there. However, I left school, um, got a job as a painting and decorator, which, yeah, it was a good job, but I was too slow. I got guys, the other painters saying to me, it's not a Picasso you're painting, son. I'd take that long on the doors. Anyways, after 2 years, I left. And I had another job, and then I had a job as a milkman, which I really liked. Um, then but all this time, I kept thinking, I still have to be in a band. And this is where the universe steps in. I got a job with a taxi firm, writes taxes in Hawick. And it was just a part-time job. And on a Saturday, George, the owner, he said, "Jim, could you take Bob up to his house?" I said, "Yeah." And on the way up, Bob turned out to be Bob Fish at Johnny and the Roccos. And they were a pretty famous rock and roll band. And I got talking to him, and he told me what he did and the gigs he'd done. And I said, "Oh, that'd be brilliant. I want to do it. I'd love to be in a band." And he said, "Well, why don't you come along with us when we do our gigs at the weekends?" And so I said, "Oh, that'd be great, great." Um, so that's what happened. And Bob Bob and me became really good friends, as I did with the rest of the band, because I actually knew them personally. Um, so they said, "Well, why don't you come to Norway with us?" So I went the band went the day before with the van, and I went with Bob in the plane the next again day, and the van met us in Bergen, and we traveled all over Norway, and it was great fun. It was fantastic, and it is brilliant being with a band. Uh, just the things that happen, the laughs and everything. Three times I went to Norway with them, but that got me really wanting to start my band. And because I knew their agent, I started a band. I started actually, I got in touch with this guy. I got told about him. He was only 14, I think he was 15. Now, I was 21 at the time, and I got told he was a really good guitarist. I didn't hold him much hope. However, I said I'd go and see him. So we went to see him. And I couldn't believe this guy. He could play the guitar. You know how on Back to the Future, how Marty McFly, when he gets up on stage and he plays Johnny Be Good, you know, this boy could play that perfectly. And I'm like, wow. And he agreed to play in the band. And so we went up to this guy we knew was a drummer, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So we practiced, and I asked Andy, who was the agent for Johnny and the Roccos, if he'd give us work, and so he gave us a booking on Saturday night, and so we hired a van. No, we got a loan of a van from a friend, and we went up and we played the booking, and it didn't help. Stevie introducing one song and playing another, but we just followed him. However, next again day, I phoned Andy. I said, "Oh, we had a great night, Andy." He said, "Hey, you were bloody rubbish, man." In his Cumbrian accent. I said, why? I said, everybody was wanting more at the end of the night. He said, a guy on spoons would have went down well at that time of night. He says, away and practice some more and get back to me. So we went away with our tails between our legs, and we practiced. We got another two members in the band, a singer that was a really good singer, and a keyboards player who was still at school at the time, but he was an absolute wizard on keyboards. And we did it. Andy gave us a gig, and we nailed it. It went down a bomb. And since then, since that day, we started to get more and more work. We played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or twice at the weekend, thrice at the weekend. Sometimes we even played during the week when we were working. We had that much work. And we went to a nightclub one night to play, and the guy there wanted to become our manager. So we said, yeah, okay. And so he started to get us work over the other side of the country. Again, doing lots of work. I mean, we were doing, I think one week we did 7 nights on the trot. And on one of the Saturday nights, we were playing at a huge social club. It had a 3-tier stage, or 3-tier where the seats were and the tables. And we had a really good night, but we finished at 11 o'clock, and we were to start in a nightclub on the other side of the city at 12 o'clock. That was 2 gigs in one night, which we'd never done before. But so everything was just chucked into the vans, the roadies got everything across to the nightclub at the other side, and we had a great night. Uh, I did notice the guys were dancing with the guys and the girls were dancing with the girls. Yeah, it was a gay nightclub, but it was a great sound. And I got talking to the girl that was in the cloakroom. There was a cloakroom attendant, and I was getting on great with her. And we offered her a lift home because we were staying at the bed and breakfast not far from our house. So we gave her a lift home. And so the rest of the band, we let her out, and the rest of the band said to me, "Why don't you go along to her house? Because she seems to really like you." I said, "Okay." So I went along, and she invited me in, and we're talking, and she happened to mention she had a boyfriend. And I said, "Oh, where is he now?" "Oh, he's in jail for attempted murder." So I made a sharp exit and back along to the digs. But yeah, it was we had great times. We had laughs like nothing on earth. We used to come back. We we used to pass an army training ground, and quite often at night we'd see lorries, trucks filled with soldiers in their camouflage going by. But quite often you had Chinook helicopters just following you as you go along the road. They were just above the trees. You heard the tit 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 tit. Uh, great fun. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. But however, eventually there was quite a lot of arguing towards the end in the band, and so I decided just to finish it. But no regrets. It was a great experience. Um, so I started after well, I've played in a few bands after that, always with Stevie, the guitarist with No Kidding, because we got on really well. Um, when the band finished, I started working with Derek, the drummer's father, and Derek. Derek's dad had a paint and decorating business, so I was back into being a painter and decorator. Um, then, did anyone ever watch the program on television, BJ and the Bear? Yeah, yeah. Well, BJ and the Bear, I loved it, and I would love to drive trucks like that. So I went in and I got my heavy goods license, and I thought, oh, this is brilliant. So I was driving trucks like that, and different kinds of trucks, four-wheel, six-wheelers, and plus articulated lorries. But then I got paid off because they found a different way to actually do the runs. So I had to go into buses, which I never really liked, but there was nothing else. So I went up and passed my test to be a bus driver. Um, I stuck that for 10 years, and then I gave it up. I wanted to be I went to Australia, and when I came back to Australia, I thought, what am I going to do? And at that time, Paul McKenna was on the television, started his shows, The Hypnotic World of Paul McKenna. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be a stage hypnotist. because I'd saw them. Me and my mate had went to see a stage hypnotist when I was about 15, and I was amazed at what he did. Anyways, I had been reading books about just about how things happen. Um, and one book that I read, one sentence says, if you ever get an opportunity or an invite to go somewhere, don't say no. Always go, because you might meet someone, you might learn something that will take you towards your goal. And my goal then was to be a stage hypnotist. Now, shortly after that, my cousin died. One of my cousins that lives about an hour away from me, and I had to go to the funeral to take the place of my dad that died when I was 14. So I went down to the funeral with my MR2. Now, how I got the MR2, this is getting crazy. How I got the MR2 was because when the Toyota MR2 came out, I really wanted an MR2. It was beautiful. It was like a little Ferrari. And I thought, I would love. Every time I took the dog out for a walk, I'd come home, I'd see that MR2, a red one, sitting outside my house. And I was just daydreaming, um, and never thinking. So a few months later, I had to take one of our dogs down to St. Boswell's. It's about half an hour away from where I live. I had to, there's a dog groomers down there, and I had to take him down to get groomed. And I said to the lady, um, when could he come down? She said, could you bring him down on Wednesday? I said, yeah, okay. And so I took him down on Wednesday. She says, could you come back in 2 hours? I said, okay. So I thought, I don't want to go home, even though it was just half an hour. I thought, what will I do? And I thought there's a Toyota garage, Border Toyota, just round the corner from where the dog groomers was. And I knew there was two MR2s there. Not the kind I wanted, something different about them. However, I went round and I went into the showroom and I'm talking to the girl on the desk. And in front of us is a red MR2, brand new. And because the salesman was going for the keys to give me a test drive in one of the MR2s that were for sale. But this brand new one in the showroom was £21,500, and that was in 1994, which was a lot of money then. Um, so I'm talking to her, and I said, I would love a red MR2. And she says, oh, gee, I've got a red MR2. She says, I may be selling it. She said, me and my husband have put in an offer for a house, and if our offer's accepted, one of our cars has got to go, and it's going to be the MR2. And I thought, wow. Um, she says, I'll give you a phone. She says, but go out the back. After you've had your test drive, it's sitting out there. So that's what happened. I went round the back. And you know, that car, as soon as I saw it, it was exactly like the car I had visualized when I took the dog home in every detail. And I knew then that the car was mine. And a week later, she phoned me up. And I got the car. The thing was, if I hadn't went down on that Wednesday, she wouldn't have been on the desk because her friend that should have been on the desk was off sick for that one day. and Connie is the name. Their bosses said, Connie, could you sit on at the reception for this one day? So if I hadn't went down on the Wednesday, if the groomer had said, come down on Thursday, nothing would have happened. So the universe had a hand in that. So where am I? Yeah. So I've got the MR2 at the funeral, and my cousin's boy says, "Oh, could I drive with you to the cemetery?" I said, "Yeah, it was way out in the country. I'm not boring you, am I?" Yes. Um, so we're going along. I said, I'm going to train to be a hypnotist. And he says, "Oh, my best friend's a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, and he's got two practices." Aha, that is why that I had to go to that funeral. So he said, "I'll introduce you to him." So I got introduced to Tony. Tony became a really good friend. And because Tony was um, on the circuit for hypnotherapists, I got to go to trainings and things that I wouldn't have normally have been able to. And this one circular that he got was from a guy, Alex, that was running a seminar down in Manchester on stage hypnotism and quick inductions. And he said, "Look, Jim, I know you want to be a stage hypnotist. Let's go down." And so we went down and we went into the hotel, big hotel, and we listened to him. And Tony had the gift of the gab, like talk to anyone. And he got talking to the instructor, and he says, "Oh, that was great." He says, my friend Jim's wanting to be a stage hypnotist. And Alex said, "I'll tell you what, if you come down to my house one day," he lived in Telford, which was still quite a way away from where I live. Um, if you come down, I'll give you a one-to-one on how to be a stage hypnotist. And so that's what I did. I went down, I got everything. He gave me tapes on how to introduce, what to say, and I studied it and I studied it, and that's how I became a stage hypnotist. But none that would never have happened if I hadn't gone to that funeral, you know? Um, so uh, there's now during the 90s, I had a crash, a big crash. I had a big crash on Princess Diana. And you know who I'm on about? And like probably millions of other guys. Um, and I'm thinking, oh, I would love to get a picture of her, you know, but not. There's thousands of pictures of her, but I wanted a picture that was different, that was mine. And this guy that used to live in my town, he actually worked. Now, Derek, the drummer, he, we're no kidding, he became a photographer and he had his own photographic business. Now, this guy, other guy, which Derek knew, and I knew him as well from school, called Ian Rutherford, I think. Um, he had a job with a national newspaper, and Princess Diana and Charles was coming to Edinburgh to Holyrood Palace, and he got the job to do the pictures. So he was right into Hollywood Palace, and Derek says to him, "Look, Jim would love a picture of Princess Diana." And Ian said, "Well, look, tell him he can have this picture." So it's never been in magazines, it's never been anywhere, you know. It is a one-off. Can you see it? Yeah. And so that was, I don't, they were probably, she was laughing, they're probably telling her jokes or something, but that is in Hollywood Palace, and that has never been in a magazine or anything. So that's one off. So there's the universe stepping in once more. Um, I'm just going through here. Hypnosis College. Yeah, on the first day I was at Hypnosis College, girl, the trainer, the lady that was training us, she's told us about a girl the year before that was in her class, and the girl really wanted a house of her own. She lived with her parents. She really, really wanted a house of her own. And she knew everything. She knew where every room was. She knew the garden. She visualized everything. And one day, when she was walking down the street, I don't know if it was in her town or another town, um, she saw this for sale sign, and she looked over the wall, and there's this house, and it looked exactly like the one she'd visualized. And she got in touch with the estate agent. He says, yeah, you can have a look around it. Everything was identical to what she wanted. Rooms were, where she wanted them. Garden was just, everything was identical to what she'd visualized. And she said to the estate agent, "How much are they wanting for it?" And he said, "They're wanting 150,000. Now, that was a lot in 1994 uh, for a house. Um, she says, "Okay." So she went home and she worked out that she could afford a mortgage of only £80,000. And everybody says, "Forget about it. Um, You'll never do it." Just even her mum and dad says, "Look, just forget about it. You haven't got the money, just stay here." But she was adamant she wanted that house. And she said to the estate agent, she says, "Offer them £80,000. And even the estate agent says, "No, they're wanting 150. Offer them 80,000. And so the next again day, the estate agent got back, said, "I can't believe, but they're going to accept your offer." They, the house has been on the market that long, and they're wanting to leave the country. They just want rid of it. So she got her house at the price she wanted to pay. Um, but a lot of it is in this book, which I'm putting much more into it. Um, so after that, I started writing a magic triangle, which is now Portal of Destiny. Um, in 2018, sorry, I'm looking at little prompters. I watched The Secret, and I started to manifest parking spaces for myself. I'd go up to, when I was driving the bus, I'd on this particular run, when I came into town, I always got a coffee, and there was always cars everywhere, and I could never get parked. Well, obviously a bus, you can't just park a bus in a little spot. So I started to visualize a parking spot for the bus outside the baker's so I could go and get my coffee. And 9 times out of 10, there'd be a parking space or someone would be leaving so I could move in. And so I got my coffee. So that was another universe stepping in. Um, in 2019, one of the guys that I worked with said, "Oh, you should get a Aston Martin." And I'd never thought of that before. And I thought, "Oh, an Aston Martin. Yeah, okay. Quite like that idea." So I started visualizing and writing down. I'm so happy and grateful now that I own a red Aston Martin. And I did this for 2 years and nothing was happening. And I thought, it's, however, I didn't really want an Aston Martin. It was just that guy's, that's the power of suggestion. He suggested Aston Martin, and I thought, oh yeah. But the universe said, you don't really want an Aston Martin. So I went on a Mustang because I've always loved the Mustang. And within a month, couple of months, I got the Mustang. Was just goes to, also I'd written down I want to fly first class to Australia. I flew business class, but that isn't a, I didn't went, oh, that doesn't work because I've only flown business class. I thought, oh wow, that's great. Um, Now I got involved about 20 odd years ago. I was in the opera. Well, it's called the Opera Hawick Operatic Society, but it's really just musical they do every year. So I was part of Hello Dolly 1 year. I think it was in 2002, and the next year I was in Half a Sixpence. I was only in I didn't have lead parts, but this time I thought I'll go. I'm I went back into Hawick Opera because they're doing this year. Well, next year they're doing the what do you call it, rehearsals now, which I've been attending since the beginning of September. They're doing Disco Inferno, which is all 70s music. Um, and not just disco. It goes ABBA, Village People, Elton John, the lot. Um, and you have a full orchestra in front of you, and it's choreography and everything. It's brilliant. Anyways, um, the auditions for the main characters was last week, and I thought, or was it the week before? Doesn't matter. Um, Although we had been doing rehearsals since the beginning of September, but the main characters, the auditions were on the Thursday. And I thought, I don't usually, but I thought this time I'm going to audition for a main character. And I got the person I wanted to audition for. And what happens, I've got really, really bad toothache, infection in my gum, and I'd had my flu jab the week before, and I was shivering, and I really felt terrible. Anyways, so I couldn't do the audition. On the Monday that I went, I said to Derek, the musical director, I said, "Oh, look, Derek, I'm sorry I didn't make the auditions, blah, blah, blah. I had toothache." And he said, "Don't worry, Jim." He said, "I've got the perfect part for you, and I'm going to put you into the ABBA act." as well. And I didn't even have to audition. And I didn't worry. I didn't bother that I'd missed auditions. I thought there must be something better coming. And there was. Um, you know. So yeah, that's great. Um, also, um, you know how I said I give money to animal charities, and I gave quite a lot of money to before we went away to London. Um, for the guy at the rescue to look after my dogs, because he's got experience with German Shepherds. But it was a rescue. It's a rescue, not for boarding dogs, but because I knew him and as a favor, and because I gave him that donation. And I thought, well, that's you know how it is. If you give, you will receive. However, when we got to London, we were staying in the Heathrow Renaissance Hotel, which looks onto the Heathrow runway. And Haley had paid an extra, I think it was £100 or something, to get a room looking onto the runway. But when we went to the reception says, "Oh, we haven't got, that's not down on the booking. There was a mistake." And so the manager was called, another young lady, and she says, "Oh, upgrade them to a what was it, executive queen suite." So although it wasn't monetary, as in cash, I believe that we were upgraded because I'd given that donation to that charity, to the rescue. Also, I would recommend you read. I've just read Richard Branson's book, "Screw It, Let's Do It," which is a really good book, and he's did a lot of the same as what Bob Proctor teaches. Obviously he never followed Bob Proctor, but he's done everything on that. And I've probably missed out some things, but regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I feel a song coming on.
I love it. Jim, you are the coolest dude ever, I think. I think we can all agree on that. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I think that's so marvelous, and I love the thread that you put through it, that the universe was always got your back every single step of the way. I think
Yeah,
that's great. I think one thing that I really want everybody to hear is that you've always taken the opportunity.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. And maybe that handful of regrets are the ones not taken.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe.
maybe, maybe.
Does anybody have any questions for Jim? Because that was cool, huh? I think
I
he
hope
needs
it,
to rewrite his autobiography and update it, right, Jim?
yeah, yeah, I will do. I will do. Uh,
That was very cool. He did not, however, explain how he was on a photo with all those actresses the other day, but
I
that's okay.
will,
Next
I
time.
will, I will tell you now, because I want to be an actor, this universe. My wife is a big fan of
Of Angie.
Angie Ham. and she runs, she's in a fan club sort of thing, and they, she sent her messages and Angie sent her, so they know each other.
Mhm.
And so now I know Angie, and I mean, it was her that it was a convention called Pursuit of Justice, and it was Haley that had got in touch with the Pursuit of Justice and said Angie Harmon would be a brilliant person to get. And so they got in touch with her and blah blah blah. So that is how I met them and all these actresses and whatever.
When I grow up, I want to be like Jim. I just want to say that.
I think we all do. That's so cool. Grace, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so I want to ask you, Jim. So you mentioned your book, where it is right now. Is it on Amazon?
This
Where?
one?
Portal,
Yeah,
sorry,
you mentioned
this
your
one,
book. Yeah.
Portal of Destiny. Yes. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble, it's on numerous numerous downloads. But the publishers let it be published with draw sketches in it that I didn't like. So now it's being re-released again with the sketches taken out that I don't like and different sketches put in. So the up until now, the old sketches are still in, and I hate them.
You're famous, so I want to. How can I get your autograph? Is
How
that a
can
way?
you?
He can just send it to you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
can you put your book name in the chat so I
I
can.
got it, Jim.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And first of all, Jim, I love your story. You are brilliant storyteller.
Well,
So
thank you. I
yeah,
never,
you.
I never
Go ahead.
like listening to my own voice. I think it's,
Why? I think you have the coolest voice in the world. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? You could say
Um,
anything. I would be like, what?
Yeah, definitely. I love it because this environment, it's just like a friend. I know. I don't know you personally. I just feel like, wow, we are in the same living room, just talking like friends. This is how
yeah.
I feel. Definitely, you are a brilliant storyteller. I love your
Well,
story.
thank you.
You're
Thank
Aw,
welcome.
you.
Grace, you're so cool
Yeah.
too. Aw.
Thank you. Love it.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions for Jim? John?
Hey Jim, yeah, that was like very intriguing and inspiring story you had. But do you have anything like I would be curious of how you was like when you were actually playing in a band or as a hypnotist? Do you have like snapshots of what you look like? 'Cause I think that would be cool to see. And also, as far as the actor goes, what kind of actor did you was wanting to be? Like what genre? Like, adventurous actor, or what kind of actor did you want to be?
I just any acting. I know that the acting membership that I'm in just now, they say if you've got to be a certain actor. It's no good putting in something that isn't you. If
Mhm.
you want to, I would love to play like a police, but with my hair, you never get it. I'd probably be the druggie or something, you know.
Yeah, the
But
criminal.
I
I'm just
love
kidding.
these police stories, and
Maybe you could play a rock star.
Yeah,
yes, yes, that's what I was.
yeah.
Uh,
So
that's what I was.
yeah, I tried to convince my second son to start his band because he has I believe he has a good voice. But he said, no, I'm going to become a content. So that's a little disappointed. Yeah.
If who is it, Grace? If you want, if you give me your address, I could send you the actual book and sign it inside.
Then you'll have both, Grace. You'll have his
Oh,
book
wow. Thank
and his
you.
autograph.
Yeah. So are you on Facebook?
Facebook, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So then I will add you as friend on Facebook.
Look in
Oh,
the Magnet 30 Facebook group, Grace. You'll find him.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Good. Thank
Yeah.
Yay.
you.
I'm on TikTok as well.
Oh yeah, and
Wow.
also, did you see this is so amazing? So then I know you. Then you have a connection with Princess Diana. So that's yeah.
And
This
Angie Harmon.
I know.
and
Oh wow.
and Makia from the Rookie. Yeah, Makia. She was the dark girl. No?
I haven't seen the
No,
rookie.
no.
Oh, you haven't. It's really
No.
good. You should watch it. Yeah. But yeah, that is but, I love that picture of Princess Diana.
Well, does anybody have any other questions for Jim? Because that was marvelous. John, did he answer your question?
Oh, sorry, John. I don't think I told you everything. What was it again?
Um, do you have any like clips or things of you like when you were actually on stage doing your performance, your rock performance or hypnotist performance or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I do.
you do?
I've got doing a stage show in a hotel doing hypnosis, where
Oh.
they're all lying on the floor because I've just
Yeah.
What did you do to them?
Yeah, you knocked them dead. I want to know.
when you uh,
You
but
should
when
post. Is it digital, Jim? You can post it in the Magnet 30 Facebook group.
the picture, I will take I think I've got the picture on. I think I posted it once, but I'll have a look through my pictures and get back, post it.
All right.
I meant to put this on as well. From starting off as a three-piece with No Kidding, this was 1979.
Oh,
BB,
no kidding. Oh,
BBC Recording Stars.
mm.
You know?
How fun. How many lifetimes have you lived? Because I think it's quite a few.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
You could write like a three-part autobiography.
mm.
Yeah,
And I think it's remarkable that you, at the age of 4, you got hit by a truck and had to
I
learn how to
know.
walk again
Yeah.
and use your hands again. I think that's amazing. And now you can play the guitar. That's so great.
Mm.
yeah, but that was the reason I couldn't play the piano. Although I'm trying. I haven't touched the piano for ages, but I can't move my right hand independently from, I just can't move my fingers quick enough.
When
So
before the accident, were you right-handed?
my mother told me, yeah, I was.
Ah.
Um,
Mhm.
but after um, the accident happened. It was my fault.
Well, you're 4. You can't say that.
It was on I was crossing the road not far from my house, and there was it was on a bend, and obviously the driver never
Oh,
saw me until
blind,
last.
blind spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I can
Oh.
remember. apart from my mum and dad, the nurse carrying me across to the window to wave goodbye to them, I can remember the nurse putting up bars on the side of my bed so that I didn't roll out.
Yeah, you're little.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for your incredible autobiography. I thought that was wonderful. And we'll do something a little bit different with this networking call. So what we'll do is I'll post this picture, which we'll take in just a second, in the Magnet 30 Facebook group. Actually, we'll post it in the larger Magnet Mind community group. And then everybody who's here, please link all of your stuff that you want to share with everybody inside of this post. Okay, so if you want to provide a lead magnet, if you want to put your website in there, if you want to put whatever it is that you want, join my group, whatever it is that you want us to know about you, put it inside this post. Does that sound like a plan, everybody?
Perfect.
Yes, perfect. I love it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. LA, did you want to ask Jim something? It's good to see your face. Or are you just taking a picture?
I'll take the picture, but Jim, I enjoyed your story, man. You've been really out there and whatnot, but I truly enjoyed it. Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love
great
it.
job.
Okay, ready? We're gonna take a picture. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at the Hawaiian putting his fingers up. Oh, Larry came on. Okay, let's do it one more time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right. So when you see this post in the larger Magnet Mind community group, make sure you put all your information that you want us to know. It's a whole promotional post. Okay. Sound good?
Yeah, awesome.
All right,
That's a
everybody.
Facebook page, right? Mine is a
The
Facebook page.
magnet, the big community that we've got.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
You know what I'm
Alright.
talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Jim. I
Yes.
appreciate it. Next month is Dorothy, right? Dorothy,
Ooh,
November
Dorothy.
19th. Yeah.
November.
Yeah.
All
Hi, Dorothy.
right.
Bye,
I love
everyone.
it.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So we have
Great
Dorothy to
job.
look forward to, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Hey, good job, Jim. All right.
Good job, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.